Have you ever wondered how much of a true military superpower China really is? What if I told you that the real test of that strength didn't happen in Taiwan, but in Pakistan? In recent years, Pakistan has become the silent testing ground for China's military power, and the world has barely noticed. In this video, we're going to reveal how the China-Pakistan alliance is being used as both a showcase and a lab for Chinese weapons, tactics, and strategic influence. We'll connect the dots between technology, military diplomacy, and geopolitics, and what all of this means for the global balance of power. By understanding this, you'll start seeing the world with new eyes, especially if you care about security, investments, or the future of your region. Do you trust the powers that control the world? Do you believe that distant conflicts don't affect you? What if the next move in this alliance triggers a global reaction? Stay until the end, because this video will show you what almost no one is willing to say. The relationship between China and Pakistan didn't begin yesterday. Since the 1960s, the two countries have nurtured a strategic partnership rooted in military and geopolitical interests. During the Cold War, Pakistan was among the first countries to recognize communist China. The alliance strengthened as both nations came to see India as a common adversary, a shared vision that has shaped decades of cooperation. Over time, this relationship grew deeper and more unequal. China went from being a partner to a financier, investing billions in Pakistan through infrastructure and defense projects. The peak of this alliance came with the creation of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC, part of the Belt and Road Initiative, an ambitious plan linking Western China to the sea through Pakistani territory. But all this help comes with a hidden cost. CPEC is not just an investment, it's a tool of influence. China has built roads, power plants, and ports in Pakistan, but who really controls them? Many analysts say Beijing holds real command over these structures. As a result, China gains not only economic influence, but also a growing physical presence in the country, one that edges dangerously close to indirect occupation. Militarily, the ties have also intensified. China supplies Pakistan with fighter jets, tanks, drones, and defense systems, many with advanced technology. More than that, the two countries conduct joint exercises, share strategic intelligence, and coordinate military policy. In practice, Pakistan has become a testing ground for Chinese weapons, and by accepting this role, it may have put its sovereignty on a thin line. This raises a key question. When an alliance becomes so deep that one country can no longer say no, is that still cooperation, or is it dependence? Pakistan seems to be walking a tightrope between gratitude and submission. Meanwhile, China continues to expand its model of silent influence. Because where military and economic power are combined, there's rarely room for free decisions. In the recent years, China-Pakistan military cooperation has reached a new level. It's no longer just about selling weapons or joint drills. Now, there's real strategic integration between the two militaries, especially in intelligence, drones, and air defense. Pakistan has become essential for testing and operationalizing Chinese military technologies. But is this a balanced partnership? One of the strongest symbols of this dependence is the JF-17 fighter jet, jointly produced by both nations. Though it's branded as a bilateral project, most of the technology and know-how comes from China. In fact, many of the JF-17's critical systems, like radars, engines, and weapons, are produced exclusively by Beijing. In other words, without China, the jet doesn't fly. And without jets, Pakistan loses a key part of its defense capability. Another important aspect is the growing use of Chinese unmanned weapons and drones. Pakistan has been purchasing surveillance and attack systems fully developed by China, such as the Winglong 2 drone. These systems modernize the Pakistani army, but also make it dependent on China for maintenance, upgrades, and technical support. Operational autonomy becomes seriously compromised. Beyond equipment, Chinese military presence on Pakistani soil has been quietly increasing. There are reports of advisors, technicians, and even soldiers operating in strategic areas, especially near the Gwadar port. While this presence is framed as technical support, it reinforces China's control over local military operations. It's as if Beijing is building a base without calling it one. Faced with all this, one inevitable question arises. Is Pakistan strengthening its military or handing over its national security to a foreign power? When a country fully depends on another for defense, can it still be considered independent? Or are we witnessing a new kind of occupation, silent, technological, and consented? This is where the line between cooperation and submission begins to blur. If there's still any doubt about China's influence over Pakistan, just look at Pakistan's political behavior in recent years. In international forums, it avoids any criticism of China, even on sensitive issues like the abuse of Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. For a country that claims to defend Islam, this silence is deafening. It's as if there's a red line no one dares to cross, and that line seems to be drawn in Beijing. Another clear example is the Gwadar port, built with Chinese capital and engineering. Officially, the port belongs to Pakistan, but in practice, it's operated by a Chinese state-owned company. This port is of huge strategic value, giving direct access to the Arabian Sea. Many analysts view it as part of a string of pearls, a network of ports around India controlled by China. Pakistan has become a key piece on that chessboard. Beyond the port, there are other strategic infrastructures, power plants, highways, and surveillance stations built with Chinese funds. Many include contract clauses that, in the event of non-payment, allow China to take temporary or permanent control. In the name of development, Pakistan may be mortgaging parts of its territory and sovereignty, all without a single shot being fired. In the tech sector, there's evidence that surveillance and communication systems used in Pakistani military zones are linked to Chinese providers. This raises serious concerns about digital security and sovereignty. Whoever controls the data controls the decisions. And if Beijing has access to that data, it means military and political decisions could be influenced by an external actor, a silent but highly effective threat. All signs point to one outcome. Pakistan may already be deeply dominated by China, whether it realizes it or not. And that dominance isn't imposed with tanks, but with infrastructure, debt, contracts, and dependence. It's the new form of empire, silent, efficient, and nearly impossible to reverse. What's most worrying is that other countries may be following the exact same path. What's happening between China and Pakistan isn't an isolated case. It's a model. A model showing how a superpower can expand its military, political, and economic influence without invasions. While the West focuses on traditional wars, China is building an empire based on dependency, and Pakistan is the perfect prototype. A strategic, economically vulnerable country willing to accept help in exchange for loyalty. For India, the main rival of both, this represents a major challenge. Having a neighbor armed and funded by Beijing creates constant tension in the region. The risk of a proxy war in South Asia grows every year. This pushes New Delhi to rearm and strengthen ties with the US and the West. The military balance in Asia could shift completely, and Pakistan is the epicenter. But the impact doesn't stop there. Countries in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America are following similar paths, accepting Chinese investment in infrastructure and defense without seeing the geopolitical traps involved. Modern domination doesn't need flags or soldiers, just a web of dependency where nations lose the ability to say no. It's a new kind of war, and the world hasn't figured out how to fight it. For the US and NATO, this growing influence is a direct threat to their global presence. China isn't just building allies. It's building extensions of its own power across strategic points of the world. And the most dangerous part, it's doing it with the target country's consent. In this context, Pakistan isn't just an ally, it's a mirror of what could happen to many others. This video isn't just about international politics, it's about understanding how the world works today. Because when decisions are made behind the scenes, the effects are felt in the economy, in conflicts, in migration, in markets. Knowing how to read these signs is a form of protection, and understanding what lies behind the China-Pakistan alliance may help you predict what's coming next. Because in this game, the future belongs to those who understand the board. We are witnessing a silent shift in how power is exercised globally. It's no longer about invasions or declarations of war. It's about dependency, influence, and strategic control. What China is doing with Pakistan is a warning to every country that thinks foreign aid comes without strings. Because when a nation loses its military and economic autonomy, it is no longer sovereign. Pakistan may not even realize it, but it has become living proof of China's new military doctrine, to dominate without fighting. And if this is happening to a country with an army, nuclear weapons, and millions of people, imagine what could happen to smaller, weaker, more indebted nations. The question that remains is simple: who's next? If this video opened your eyes, leave a like and comment your thoughts on China's influence. Do you think Pakistan is still independent, or has it already been quietly taken over? Share this video with someone who still thinks power is only about armies. And if you want to keep understanding how the world really works, subscribe to the channel now, because this is just the beginning.